I was standing in the old barn my great-grandfather had built in 1890, clutching the original deed to Lake Ranch, land that had been in my family for 4 generations, when the nightmare began. The morning sun streamed through weathered wooden slats, lighting up the shiny new irrigation system I had just finished inspecting. Outside, 500 acres of corn swayed in the Illinois breeze. The first phase of my $2 million dream to transform this ranch into America's premier organic farm. 3 years earlier, I had walked away from a $180,000 consulting job in Des Moines to honor my dying father's last words. "Son, this land will always feed the community. Promise me you'll keep it alive." I had poured everything into that promise, my savings, my inheritance, every loan I could sick only to hear the roar of expensive engines break the morning calm. A white Mercedes sedan rolled up, followed by 2 black SUVs, and out stepped the woman who had made my life miserable for the last 2 years. Karen Blackstone, 52 years old, president of the Pine Valley HOA, sharp as broken glass in her red blazer and leather briefcase. Behind her came 6 men in suits and workers with surveying equipment, as if my farm had suddenly become a crime scene. "Mr. Callahan," she sneered, "this land belongs to us now. We've purchased 2,500 acres from the Pine Valley Community Development Trust for $15 million. According to the state of Illinois, you're trespassing." She held up thick documents stamped with seals, including one with my father's supposed signature dated March 2019, just 2 months after his death. My hand shook as I read it. The T in Thomas was wrong. He couldn't even hold a pen in hospice, let alone sign away our ranch. Karen's smile was cruel as she snapped her briefcase shut. "You have 72 hours to leave. After that, Crownstone Developers begins construction of Crownstone Meadows, a luxury housing project." She turned and left with her pack of wolves, leaving me staring at a massive sign already planted at my gate. Crownstone Meadows luxury homes, starting at $850,000. My family's legacy, my father's dream, reduced to an advertisement. But she had made one mistake. I wasn't the kind of man who folded. The first person I called was my daughter Anna, a 22-year-old law student in her final year at Northwestern. "Dad, I'm coming home now," she said, slamming her textbooks shut. By sunset, she arrived with laptops, scanners, and a fierce determination. Together we spread documents across the oak table my great-grandfather had built in 1892. The deed at the center, like a relic, Anna compared my father's signature to his 2018 will. "Look at this," she said. "The cross on the T doesn't match. This is forgery." While she dug into legal databases, I researched Karen. The truth chilled me. Her real name was Victoria Blackwood, a disgraced real estate agent who had lost her license for fraud in Chicago. She had moved to Pine Valley, reinvented herself as Karen Blackstone, got elected HOA president, and rewritten the bylaws to give herself control over unused land. She wasn't just power-hungry, she was a professional land thief. That night, we visited my neighbor Bob Mitchell, my father's oldest friend. Bob told us Karen had tried to buy his 300 acres and threatened him when he refused. Then he pulled out a photo, Karen handing a USB drive to a man in a sharp suit. Anna traced his face online. It was Marcus Thornfield, CEO of Crownstone Developers, known for shady land grabs. The pieces clicked into place. Karen and Marcus were running a long con. The next morning, my worst fears came true. Workers erected a chain-link fence topped with razor wire around my ranch, posting guards at my driveway. A man I knew, former cop Jake Morrison, handed me a restraining order saying the property was under legal dispute. I was locked out of my own home, watching my barn from the wrong side of a fence. That night, Karen hosted a town hall meeting, promising jobs and prosperity with her Crownstone Meadows project. But Anna recorded her every lie, including a fake environmental clearance. When Anna checked the state website, no such study existed. Karen was building her empire on deception. Things escalated fast. The bank called in my $300,000 loan. Local newspapers ran hit pieces labeling me a debtor squatting on community land. Social media accounts spread fake tax documents against me, but Anna countered with a TikTok account called Truth About Lake Ranch. Her first video, a tour of my organic farm, went viral with 50,000 views in a day. Within a week, she had 500,000 followers and national farm groups rallying behind us. Then a new ally appeared. Margaret Sullivan, a retired land rights attorney with decades of experience. She examined Karen's documents and found damning evidence. The ink on the supposed 2019 deed was a chemical only available in 2020. It was forged. and the Pine Valley Development Trust. It had been created just 2 days before the fake transfer, by none other than Victoria Blackwood. The fraud went deeper than we imagined. Soon after, a whistleblower named Tom Rogers, a former Crownstone employee, contacted us. He met us in secret at Mill Creek Bridge, his hands shaking as he passed me a USB drive. "It's not about housing," he said. "It's about lithium." My stomach dropped as I opened the files. Beneath Lake Ranch sat one of the largest lithium deposits in the Midwest, worth $3.8 billion. Crownstone's entire housing project was just a front. They needed my 2,500 acres to secure mining rights. Without it, they couldn't get permits. Karen wasn't after homes. She was after the minerals beneath my family's soil. That's when the threats began. Cars followed us. Anna received anonymous texts. "Drop the case, or your father gets hurt." We couldn't trust the local police. Karen had allies there. Still, we pressed forward. Anna dug through Crownstone's contracts and found a golden clause. Section 47B of fraud is proven. Development rights transfer to the injured party. Suddenly the fight wasn't just about saving Lake Ranch. If we won, we would own their entire $800 million project. The day of the trial, the courthouse overflowed with people. News crews swarmed. Karen strutted in with a team of 6 high-powered lawyers, her red suit blazing like fire. Their case was polished documents, permits, signatures all supposedly airtight. But when Anna stood up, her voice steady and clear, she tore their case apart. She showed the FBI handwriting analysis proving my father's signature was fake. She revealed chemical ink tests proving the deed couldn't exist in 2019. Tom Rogers testified that Crownstone's housing plan was a cover for lithium mining, presenting emails about Project White Gold. The jury gasped when Anna exposed Karen's petition with 347 signatures, including names of people long dead. Finally, Anna read aloud Section 47B. Any fraud voids contracts and transfers rights to the injured party. The judge's gavel came down hard. Lake Ranch remains the property of Ethan Callahan. Furthermore, Crownstone Meadows development rights are hereby transferred to Mr. Callahan as compensation. The room erupted in cheers. Karen screamed as marshals dragged her away, sentenced later to 12 years for fraud. Marcus Thornfield was arrested by the FBI at O'Hare Airport, trying to flee with suitcases of cash. Their empire collapsed overnight, the sweetest twist. In her rush, Karen had accidentally included her own $1 million mansion in a bulk transfer to Crownstone. By law, under Section 47B, her house now belonged to me. The headline went viral. HOA president accidentally sells own home in land scam. 3 months later, Lake Ranch stood stronger than ever. We turned the seized Crownstone land into the Pine Valley Sustainable Agriculture Park, employing 52 families and selling millions in organic produce. Anna's TikTok hit 3.7 million followers. She was offered a full ride to Harvard Law, but chose to take a gap year to help me build the cooperative. Margaret opened a law firm in Karen's old mansion, fighting land fraud across the Midwest. And me, I stood once again in my great-grandfather's barn, sunlight streaming in, knowing we had not only saved our legacy but created something bigger. Karen thought she could erase for generations of Callahans with forged papers and greed. Instead, she lost everything, and I took back their neighborhood contract in a way she never saw coming.